Word to the rise, not wise, rise, RISE. You have to ask yourself, are you ready to heal somebody? You're talking about somebody's life. So I like to get in more into this because with the Galactic School, I provide you with the test reviews and evaluations, and it's important you understand why these are done for you through positions to truly understand that when you try to heal somebody, you have to be in full rotation cycle of a system to its connection because you're opening up their heart and they're rising out of their body system. Okay, so it's understanding how to do these things because if you don't understand the attraction positions of a higher self, if you don't understand the heart recognitions of the connections, if you don't understand the mind systems of calibrations, if you don't understand the soul identification to their system, everybody's going to have a huge problem. Okay. So I noticed that I'm just truly understanding that through connection because I have a force team right now, and I want to make sure you guys are basically understanding your positions and where you are before you heal anybody. Okay. I just want to make sure that because it's all about protecting each other. Right. And this is more of an initiative. It's all about activating and initiating the process, the program setting, how to set up everybody in a different way. Everybody has to be healed in a different way. Everybody has a different program in a different way. So really understand that your full communication cycles is its connection to you and then to them. So what happens is when you go through the healing, you're automatically activated through them. You're aligned through them, right? So it's all about understanding how to open up their heart system. Right? There's so many contentions. There's so many formats. The heart volumes on so many levels. Okay, so word to the rise, RISE. Be cautious, be careful. Okay, it's important to understand these things. If you're having problems with these things, please come to me. So that's why you have to understand that my team's in a 90 positional level through 90 master positions of healing through connections. But you have to ask yourself, are you ready? Right? So always try to find yourself to heal yourself first before you get into healing anybody else. Because you're looking at electrical wires, you're looking at electrical system, you're looking at pattern defense, you're looking at digital frames, you're looking at the heart, you're looking at the mind. Where's the mind and thoughts? Okay, this person can be trapped in the matrix. If you don't understand the soul identification of somebody, you're going to have a huge problem, right? So get into those levels of yourself first through experiencing, exploring, and anything through its relation of its creation to its education. Because it's all about educating yourself first. Master the self within through communication, and then you can master mind telepathy. Because healing is done through mind telepathy. It's done through communication of the body system, okay? And 114 will provide you with that. So when you open up all your lights, not your atoms or your molecules, just your lights, you'll be able to heal a lot better and feel more safe and more comfortable with the person that you're healing. I have so much confidence in myself. I know what I need to do. There's tractions and positions where people come to me and they say, okay, when you first start off, you have to ask yourself, did I do something right or did I do something wrong? You're guessing yourself. Don't second guess yourself when you start healing. Okay, so it's very important that, when you guys go off on your own, know what you're doing. Okay, because it's going to come back at you if you don't understand what's going on. So you're dealing with human lives. So it's all about recognizing them and them recognizing you when it comes into the soul. So it's all about you breaking the free of its connection to its rise. Okay? So it's all about understanding the footsteps of sand, the sands of footsteps. They come into the Christian levels. Okay, they come into whatever they believe in. They could be majestic, they could be characteristic, they could be religion. We believe in our religions when we come into our connections. We're all connected through humans first before we become religious. Now, everybody has a believing system, believing cycle, believing activation. That's totally fine. But you have to have so much confidence in yourself, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to heal anybody. Okay? So I'm just asking that, where are you guys at? You have any questions or comments, feel free to go through my email, the constellations or anything through simulation therapies, people that are high information light workers that want to understand more of themselves, how to upgrade themselves more. You have to upgrade yourself more before you heal anybody else. You can't be in a low device system through lights if somebody's higher, because they're a higher program than you. So you have to be cautious in what you're doing through healing. So if you heal somebody and somebody's traveled 26,000 years and they're higher force than you, you're going to have a huge problem through electronic divisions and everything's electrical system. Your body frame and system will be able to understand its communication. So it's kind of like they're healing you, but you don't know what they just did. So you have to understand how to communicate with the person first before you heal it. So you have to go through the bioscans. Bioscan is very important to do these things. Okay, because as soon as you open up your energy, right, it's activated, it's initiating, it's programmed, it's setting, it's going into the dimensional dimension. So everybody is in a practical level of ascension, dream awakening. Everybody has their own heart. Everybody has their own tree. So you have to be cautious on the seeds that you're planting. Okay, you're planting seeds of healing to these people, and it's all about them rising above. Okay, so I don't know how many people are trying to heal other people, but just be cautious on that. Very, very cautious, okay? This is coming from your commander. So it's all a process that you have to stand fully, completely yourself, okay? Because people come to me and say, wow, I feel fantastic. But see, the thing is, too, I have to keep upgrading that person, because if I don't, they're not going to understand their mind. They're not going to understand their brain. They're not going to understand anything what's going on. Because remember, you're taking somebody out of the soul and you're putting them into the spiritual system. And it's extremely powerful through lights. So word to the rise, R-I-S-E. You're risen somebody out of their body. You're taking the soul out. Okay, so they have to identify what's going on with the atmospheres. And if they don't keep going through upgrades, there's going to be a problem because you're aligned through them now. So they're going to have expectancy to have that connection, to understand that they have to understand you through connections. So, okay, what do I do now? What happens next? You just heal me. What happens after this? So it's all about expectancy. You really have to understand these things. So I think it's great, some people, that are going off and healing, but just be cautious because they're going to come back at you because you're aligned through them, right? And the thing is, too, if you mix their program settings, there's a huge problem here. Okay, so that's what I provide in the Galactic School, is for you guys to be prepared. So when you go out in the real world, you know exactly what to do with communication through the human body. You have to know everything through the human body before you heal. So you start off with yourself first before you heal somebody. Okay? You just don't go on any retrograde and then just try to heal people. It doesn't work that way, because everybody's on a different path. Okay, and there's a lot of stubborn people out there that don't want to be healed. They want to stay in their old patterns. They want to stay in their old programs. They want to stay in their own self. You have to understand that you're rising people out of their body and you're taking them into space. So you have to know what you're doing with the particle system. Okay, you have to understand the electrical lights. You have to understand the hydraulics. You have to understand their mind. You have to understand where they are through their thoughts, because they can be trapped in the past through a clock, through a connection of a shape, okay, underground, surface through its connection. It's all identifying the soul. Every human being has their own soul. Now, you have to understand, it's higher self identifying the higher self. Okay, so if you're at a level of a higher self, okay, for the new viewers, and you're just going through the practical levels, I wouldn't get into healing people, because you're just trying to get to know yourself. You have to fully recognize yourself first as intelligence. You have to know everything through GOD. You have to know the geometrics. You have to know the space of geometrics. You have to know the divisions of lights of geometrics. You have to know the colorations of lights of geometrics. There's so many applications, and that's what this Galactic School provides. It gets you prepared for the real world. Okay? So when you go through the healing, you'll feel a lot more safe and more comfortable. So when they come at you, because they will keep coming at you because you're aligned through them. They communicate through you now. They'll see you through your dreams. They'll see you through your practical levels. They'll see you through program settings. You're aligned through them. You just woke them up. So you are aligned through them. You have risen them from the dead. That's what awakening is. It's waking up the heart. So you have to be cautious on where they are in the spiritual system. It's important you understand that through line signals, guys, because it's all about communication through their thoughts. Are they recognizing you through your healing? Do they trust your factors of your healing? Does it feel safe to be healed from this person? So it's questions, 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 questions. So master yourself within before you go out and heal other people. I just want to know where you guys are at. Like, if you start healing, be cautious on these things, because you're not going to come to your commander and people are going to come to you and they say, what have you done to me? I feel great, but now what's happened to me? Something's not right. Something doesn't feel right. They will tell you that. So that's why you have to take the school, so you understand your program settings, so you understand the test reviews and evaluations. Okay? As long as you understand that this is the only galactic school on the earth, because we only have one earth, right? It's all about the connections, like with Dolores Cannon. Okay, once you're in, you can't get out. But see, this is the beautiful thing, is that you're not trapped into it. You just have to understand it's a program setting for you. This is all about you healing yourself before you heal others. Okay, so that's what I provide in the Galactic School, and that's why you guys get test reviews and evaluations. It's upgrading yourselves, but you have to be in 114 lights to understand anything through a body. You understand the vibrations of a body. Okay, you understand the tones of the body. You understand the colorations of the body. You understand their thoughts of their body. Okay, you just can't go out and heal people and think that, wow, this is great, I just did something. Well, what did you do? They come back at you. They have bad dreams. You change their conceptual mind program settings. There's a lot of things you have to understand when it comes into healing. Okay, and you have to travel so far into the future to understand everything through humanity. Okay, so just because you're 26, 30,000 years in the future doesn't mean you can heal bodies. Okay, everybody comes in different dimensions of time. It's all done through clocking, right? Because there's a lot of higher light beings that are higher than you. And if you go up against them, okay, this is where it comes into the septical system, comes into the ego system. If the ego gets in, now it's on its own play. It's recording its own activation, its own initiation. So be cautious what you're doing when you're healing people. Okay, start with yourself first. Really master yourself. That's what I did. I didn't heal anybody until I knew myself completely, from ABCs and 1, 2s, and 3s. Knowing the alphabet from backwards to frontwards, forwards to backwards, north, west, south, and east. You understand their travel positions because they're dream set positions. They can have their soul identification locked in electrical light system. Now remember, their soul is identified to them. They are on their own plane record through activation through their dreams. So when you wake them up, you can go through disturbance. Like it's waking up, you know, the spiritual realm of grounds or anything through cemeteries and all that. So when you wake them up from the ground, what happens? It disturbs them, right? You wake them up from the sleep. So you just woken somebody up from the grave, right? So these are the things you don't want to do, because the soul is not identifying you through your light, through your healing. Healing is not just healing, okay? It's everything to the heart. It awakes the heart. It awakes the mind, the brain, and the soul for the very first time. It brings you into higher self of communication to the atmosphere positions. Okay, so you've got to make sure that your mind is set, okay, to heal this person in the right direction, to the right location, right position. So it knows exactly what's going on. Because once you heal them, they're aligned through you, and they're going to come back at you. They're going to come back at you and say, oh, listen, you know, I don't feel good. I felt good yesterday, but what's wrong with me today? So you have to answer these questions. You have to answer all their questions. So master yourself inside first before you plan to go heal somebody else. Okay. So, and the thing is too, is that you guys are high rising faster and faster and faster, which is great, but you guys are not at that level yet. You're not at 114. You have to be 100. Your whole body, your liquid formation has to be at the top. You can't be here. You can't be here. You got to be here. All right. So just be cautious. Word to the wise. Wise, rise. Wise as in understanding your spiritual system. Rise is understanding the soul identification of the person that you're healing. And that comes in together when it comes into the footsteps of the sand. Right? So it's very powerful if you don't understand yourself first. Because if you don't understand yourself inside, how are you supposed to heal anybody else? So you understand where they're coming from dimensions of times and portals and codes. You understand their vibration of their thoughts. Are they in the past, present, or are they in the future? They could be caught in the future. They could have separation with the body system, right? They can going through strangulations of wire through connections. You have to understand that when you heal somebody, you're going through the soul identification. You're waking them up. And when you wake them up, you have to be cautious because it's the spiritual system awakes. And when it awakes, it understands, whoa, what just happened? The lights go on. Now what? Okay, what do I do now? So you are responsible. You have to keep upgrading them because you're aligned through them. Okay, so it's important to understand these things. It's important to understand. So if you understand, that's great, right? All the best. But I'm telling you, you have to know your ABCs and 1, 2s, and 3s, understanding your program settings, because what happens is it becomes mind manipulation on its own. So if you aren't ready to heal and you're cautious on that and you're rewording your phrases and program settings and anything through your solar text positions, don't heal. Where's your power? Where's your connection? All right, can you heal through solar text? Can you heal through mind telepathy? Your intelligence has to know what's good and what's bad and what you can do and what you can't do through travel. Okay, so you come into mind telepathy. Okay, it's extremely powerful. That's very hard to do. That's all mind control. Okay, you understand metaphysical. That's touching somebody, right? So you have to understand the healing. You have to understand what's involved with healing, because you're healing a body. You're healing their soul of a body through the mind of. So, like I said, being prepared comes next. So it's kind of like you're responsible for that person, okay? Because that person will come to you now because you're aligned through them, and that's how powerful spiritual system is. So it's all about us together through one alignment. That's what it is. 7.5 billion people are all aligned. So when we put it all together, we're all one unity of consciousness, right? So how's everybody doing so far? I just want everybody, this is a very powerful video. I just want you to know where you are, where your stats are, where your quotes are. You can go through my healing. I can upgrade your cycles, positions, anything through 12 rotation centers. And that's another thing too. When you heal somebody, okay, what are you healing? The thing is too, everybody works in a different way. The hardest thing you do is to open up someone's body of seven chakras, not 12, just 7. Okay. Now the optical levels of 90 atmospheres won't open up 12 for you guys because you're not at that level. So you have to understand what level you're at and what level you're safe at and what level you can do, right? You guys can heal, but to a certain point. You can't open 12 traction position because you don't know where it is through their soul identification of thoughts. Okay. So it's all about opening the hearts of people. It's all about opening the minds of people. It's all about opening the brain frequency. Okay. So you're dealing with something that's magnetic. You're dealing with something that's a force. You're dealing with something that is soul identifying. So that soul is identifying you through alignment now. I had to go through these processes and all it's doing. It has to have the confident level. So it has to have confident within itself through communication before it goes out to heal anything out through formation of anything through community. Okay, so I had to go through these things before I had to understand myself inside me, right? So I was going through these little things. Okay, I want to heal this, I want to heal that. That's the practical level, but you understand that everybody's on a different path. They're on a different DNA. They're biologically different from everybody else. But you have to understand the wires, electricity, the vibrations, the energy, the frequencies, the travels, the times, the portals, and the codes. Everybody's connected, but they're not in the same path. Opening up someone's soul is not that easy. Okay. So there's a lot of things you have to take act and react. You're acting upon and you're reacting to what happens next. So I had to go through these things, right? And you guys are going to go through these things. And that's why we have to go into those connections of 114 chakras. Once you open up your whole body, okay, then you understand more relation of travel through your lights and everything through your connections, because it's force rising your heart. And now you understand more of themselves. You understand more of that person you're dealing with. You understand their past, their present, and their future. That's psyche. You're psychic, right? So you're giving something back. You're saying something to this person and say, how do you know that? right? I've come across that with healing when I was healing somebody when I was on set. And I said, how did you do that? I read his mind. I knew exactly what's going on with his girlfriend and the problems they're having with their family. That's psychic. But that was also done through metaphysical. So I took 80% of his body and he lived to tell the story, what I did to him, right? So right away, they're aware, okay? And then I also did mind telepathy. So I did 2 practical levels. I did mind telepathy and metaphysical. You have to understand the intelligence has to know its lights, okay? It has to know its activation of lights. It has to know its activation of lights of healing through color, because you're healing somebody's soul, guys, all right? So the practical levels, like I said, is understanding your observations and what you're doing through your chakra system of 7. Okay, you understand their grounds, you understand their powers, and you understand their atmospheres. If you understand that, you can't heal anybody. All right, so it's all about them coming back onto the earth, because it's misconception. The thing is that it's miswired, miscalculated, mismodified, and everything through the simulation of its core is not recognizing anything through connections. So all their dream set is in a wrong position. Okay, it's in the dark ground position. Now it's in a dark circle. Now it's in dark corners or anything of that relation. Okay, so, and the thing is too, is that the soul could be trapped on the other side. Okay, so you have to be cautious in what you're doing. You have to communicate with the inner system of the heart. Where's it coming from? Healing is not just healing. So, and this is where it comes into the identification of you first through intelligence. So it's really, really important to understand these things. Okay, so if you're trying to heal your friends, I think that's great, but just be cautious. Okay, your intelligence should know exactly what you're good at and what you need to work at and what you need to follow up on. Okay, because everything through intelligence has to understand what they're doing through travel of thought. You're healing a human being, and that human being is going into so many levels of dimensions and portals. It's trying to understand, it's clocking. So you're resetting their position of their clock. That's what you're doing. Okay, you're putting them back on the earth. Okay, through miscalculation. You're resetting their programs. You're opening up their heart cycle. You're identifying their soul. You're breaking free the soul to its higher self. Okay, so it comes in all ways and forms, and it comes into combination levels. I mean, there's a lot of things you have to fight too. There's forces that you have to fight in the spiritual world. The spiritual world is extremely, extremely real. So if you're not identifying the person that you healed, they're going to come back at you through the spiritual system. So remember, they have light and dark interference with their connections. So if they come at you, they'll come at you through your dreams. So you have to protect yourself through lights. People have tried to come at me through that. So it's understanding how to fight this. Okay. Now, it's understanding that, you know, when you come into Archangel Michael, he's protection of everything through families. He's the powerful force. He's the entity force of all communication, right? He force rises to everything through connections of protection. But you have to understand what you're doing with your lights. Okay, how to use the twin flame sword if you need it. So when you get into the spiritual realm system, you're activating and initiating the program setting to that person that you're interacting with, guys. So you're fighting them. That's what you're doing when you're healing somebody. You're fighting their spiritual system. So know exactly what you're doing. Know how to use the twin flame sword. Understand the rays, understand the gamma operations, because it could be trapped in the matrix position and they come back at you because it's a dark entity force that they created. So you're destroying their old program system and putting a new program system into their soul identification. And if you don't understand that, you're going to have a huge problem. Okay, so now you're fighting with the spiritual system. Now you're fighting with the healing system. Now you're fighting, having problems with the heart system, has separation through dimensions and portal and activation codes, right? So that's why it's very important to understand the Galactic School and what it is. Okay, what is the Galactic School? What does it represent? What does it mean to you? So it's all about you understanding yourself, of healing first, okay? Because you live in the physical system, but you have to understand that everybody has a spiritual system. Everybody on this dimensional earth has a spiritual system. So you have to understand where they are at with their programs, where they are at with their thoughts of recognition, because they could be creating 20, 30 years of dark force. and you have to know how to fight it. If you don't know how to fight it, there's a problem. Okay, so you have to be aware of the angelics, right? Because it could be on the other side. This is all spiritual system now. Okay, this is coming from your King Archangel Azareth. Okay, through connections. This is coming from Archangel Michael. Okay, this is all coming from God's heel. So understand your connection and how powerful you are through the spiritual system. You understand the life cycle and the death cycle of the person that you're interacting with through its healing. All right. So it's all about rising somebody, okay, from beyond. So you're taking them from the ground and they're breaking free. That's what you're trying to do. Okay. But their soul identification could be anywhere. Okay. It could be mind manipulated. It could be program setting. They could be in a wall interference. They could be in a dark playground. It all depends on where they are through this set, through the thoughts, through their activation, through their codes. So they're connecting to their program setting through visualization. They're projecting, right? Some people are, a lot of people that are going into, let's say, you come into the astrologics of their program settings, or you come into the psychotic, or you come into the psychosis. The psychosis to the psychiatric or anything connection. Okay, why are they in there? It's because they're in their own realm. They're in their own dimension. Okay, they think they're still living the war. So try to heal somebody from that. That's extremely hard to do. Okay, you have to separate the mind, the body, and the soul, and reframe, readjust, and reconnect the clock, dimension of time. So it's important to understand these things. When you're healing somebody, know exactly where they are through dimension. Okay, that's the first thing you got to look at, because they could be on so many levels, okay, of astral records. So they could be on flashing motion sensors. They could be going through twitching motion systems. Their brain location is in a different realm location position. They're going through the psychedelics. They're going through their psychotic moments. They're going through multiple personalities. Let's get into multiple personality. What is the cause of that? What are the cause of multiple personalities? There are people with that. Okay. How would I heal somebody with that? You have to understand their dimensions of time. Okay, so there could be paraphrases of units through vector unit cores of quadrant levels of different people on different planet positions in the Earth rotation. So it's understanding they're going through ancestry history of somebody else, recognition to that connection, right? They're playing on their emotions, right? So they're caught in so many dimensions of realms, and that's why they have so many multiple personalities of themselves, right? So if you understand that, there's a lot of people that basically understanding communications of yourself fully, if they don't understand themselves, they'd rather be a fake somebody than a real nobody. A fake somebody than a real nobody. So they create their own illusion. They create their own image of what they want. So they rather be a fake somebody than a real nobody. Because if a fake somebody comes into a personality, it could be this person in the day and this person at night, okay, and then another person, depending 3 or 4. So you're creating your own invisible directory of yourself. And that's why it's so complicated, because now you come into the psychosis of thoughts. So it's all about your human behavior and where you are connecting to your system of your program setting. Right? Healing is not just healing. Okay. So I had to get this out because you guys, if you're healing, be cautious, right? Know exactly where you are through your thoughts, know exactly where you are through the confident levels. Okay. Word to the rise. Okay. And the wise. Wise wisdom. Do you have wisdom within yourself? Can you follow a path? Do you understand angels? Do you understand the definition of angels? Do you understand the definition of archangels? Do you understand the definition of life and death? If you don't heal. Plain and simple. Because there could be somebody that's on a catastrophic system that's so depressed with so much anxiety, and all they want is they want to die. People are put in that position, and you want to heal somebody? You can't do that. You have to go through the psychological of their travel, of their thoughts, go into the mind system, go into the particle system, understand where they are through the connection of their thoughts, understand their soul identification, and why they are sad, why they are going through anxiety, why are they depressed, why are they stressed. You have to go deep, 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 deep beyond the mind, guys. That's the only way you can heal anybody. Everybody is in a different way of thinking through their life stream. Everybody's life stream. Okay. Now we all have problems. We have bumps in the road and all that, but it's all about us understanding, getting into that expectancy, truly understanding ourselves through communication, through lights. It's all about going through that life stream. Okay. Understanding the yin and yang of ourselves. That alone is better communication through the heart. Right. So if you can communicate through someone's heart, that's great. If you can communicate through a soul identification, know where they are through dimension of time, that's great. If you can understand their program setting and they're very depressed, you understand why are they depressed. You have to go in the psychological of the psychosis of that person. Okay? Because they could be psychotic. But why are they psychotic? Because they're trapped in dimension of time. Do you understand? So the mind doesn't understand the conception of the brain. The brain is setting in division through the spiritual system. So anybody is in that through multiple personality. Okay, it's understanding that I don't just see one bottle, I see 3 bottles, but they all have different intelligence through liquid formation of light. So I think I'll use this water, and then tomorrow I'll use this water and that water. So you're using 3 different kind of waters through 3 different intelligence signals. So it's traveling on so many mechanisms of dimensions and times and portals and codes. All right, so get into the levels of experiencing yourself first. Really, truly understand that, because, you know, it's all about understanding there's a lot of healers that think they're healers, but what are they doing? They channel divisions and, okay, I'm opening your third eye right now. I said, well, how do I know my third eye is open? How do I know? You'll feel it right away. You just can't go on a channel and say, okay, I'm opening your third eye. You have to be a God. You have to understand the G-mix of travel through its operation, through its division, the dimensions, or anything through direction. You're directing healing. You're opening up their heart. Okay, see, you can't just open someone's third eye. You have to understand the activation cycle. You have to understand Mother Earth. You have to understand Father Space. You have to understand the ferals, the meridians. You have to understand the birthing system of you before you heal anybody else, because they were once a meridian. Everybody in this whole population of its Earth, of its system, is a meridian. But the meridian is activation through pixel. That's connected to your holographic system of you through calculation. Okay? So once you know who you are, then you understand more of yourself. Fully inside. Fully inside. It's understand the psychosis of your thoughts inside. It's understand the mind of its conceptual system through the psychometries. Okay? Because it's all connected to emotion, guys. Emotion comes motion. And then comes into sensory emotion. What is sensory emotion? It's through intelligence. Now, if you put that in a waving cycle of humanity or anything through connection of somebody that you're healing, you just put motion sensors of healing into somebody, and they have no idea what you just did. But do you? Right? So be cautious on your word phrasings when you heal somebody. So your intelligence knows exactly what it's doing through the confident levels of its wires. So if your electrical system is off through calculation, I'm telling you exactly what's wrong with your body. I scan your body first, okay, and then I tell you exactly what you need to do to keep up those levels through its upgrades. Okay, ask Dina, okay? Ask Priscilla, ask Sarah, ask Sylvia, ask Michael, you know, ask all these people, ask where they are through their levels, because they know themselves. If you know yourself, you know yourself through healing. So that alone, okay, should be able to get into those obstacles, right? Get into the observation through perception, right? Because if you're rewording yourselves and you're putting this to people and you understand, okay, what did I just do to that person? I just put words in there, okay? You can't retract positions because now it's connected to their body frame, either it's light or dark interference. So if you don't understand the words of its thoughts through the soul identification of the person that you're healing, don't heal that person because you're not ready through confirmation. You have to have confirmation. And it comes from Father Space and it comes from Mother Earth. Father has a very powerful voice and so does Mother. Okay? It's all connected to you. Okay? So when you become God, you become everything through God, of everything through form. Okay. So there's a lot of people out there that are going through healing, right? But they don't know what they're doing with the healing because they don't understand the meridian of the pharaohs. They don't understand the Egyptians. They don't understand Egypt. They don't understand ancestral history of themselves. How can you heal somebody if you don't understand where you came from? That alone is troubling. And you're saying that you're a healer? Well, what identifies you as a healer? How are you different from me? What can you do to like, for example, how can you bring God to me? Right? I did that with somebody that was stage 4 cancer, and I put God in her. Right? I gave her Jesus. I can do that instantly because I have connection with my inner system. My inner system is everything through angels and archangels. It's all connected to God, right? But you understand, God is not the definition of you. That's just the definition of a shape through its operation of its direction, dimension, and everything through time of codes. So you understand everything through travel is this connection. So if you're going through my telepathy one to the next, you have to know what you're doing through its scan. If you're scanning somebody, okay, they can go through frenzy. They can go through palpitations. They can go through anything through connection. Remember, you're healing somebody through scan, right? You're scanning them up and down, and then you see the bone fragments, seeing the skull and all that, right? And then you have to understand where they are through connections. Where is it hurting, right? So if you know that, now you're going deeper and deeper into the mind, through the heart, to the soul. The soul's identifying everything through you. Now it's aligning through you, okay? Now you go into the level of healing the skull rotation center to its position, uprising its system to its cycle rotation center to its position. Now all I need now is the DNA of its name. The person I'm trying to heal heals right away. Why? Because it's the right direction, right location, right dimension of time, position. So I'm connecting to the higher self, to its position. So I'm healing the higher self, the avatar, computer, energy, or where they are ever at. You have to understand, they are living in existence every single day through the time of dimensions, of portals, guys. So you have to be cautious on what you're doing through healing, okay? Because if you understand yourself, okay, let's just say you're getting into yourself, right? You get into chakra system, you just open up your 7 chakras. Hey, I want to heal somebody now. Well, first off, have you healed yourself first, fully and completely? Do you understand your full tank of water, what position it's at? Because every time you drink your water, you're losing affirmation. You're losing light liquidation. Okay, you're losing everything through your connections, right? So you got to keep filling it up, right? And the way to do that is truly understand the knowledge of intelligence that is given to you, okay? So, and the whole thing is to understand where you are, where are you coming from, why were you born this way? It's all these questions. Remember about the 7 whys and the how? How was I born? Why am I here? When is this going to happen? What happens next? Where is this going to take place? So you have to know all these inside you before you decide to heal anything, right? If you want to heal a cat, if you want to heal an animal, you have to understand that the bone structure is different. Dogs are different from cats. Birds, if you have a bird, just know your vibrations, right? And fully understand yourself with the inner system of you. Because we have to remember, everything has a mind, everything has a brain, everything has a heart, and everything has a soul. We all are in conjunction of that, but we have to understand its application. We have to understand, oh, it's an anxiety system. Oh, it's in a stressing system. Oh, it's in a high level of depressing system. You have to take that down, right? You have to understand their blood counts. You have to understand their circle rotation centers. You have to understand their cell rotations. You have to understand their activation lights. There's so many things that you have to understand because everybody's going through that level. Okay, they want to understand more of you. So if they understand more of you, they're going to be more comfortable with you, right? So it's knowing that when I started off with the Galactic School, we got to know each other. Right? And then I got to know you, and then I started scanning you, and then I understand you more and more. So we understand each other more, right? Through my telepathy, right? Same with the numbers, 432, right? So when we get into those levels, now you're going through my telepathy one to another, but you're using it through all connections of the digital frame. So one digital frame is connected to another digital frame through intelligence. So it's all about communicating through my telepathy. But what is metaphysical? What does that mean? Okay, that's a different way of healing. Okay, you can channel somebody and not touch them. Okay, that's outer surface healing. So you have to understand all connections of healing connect through you, but your intelligence really has to have the confident level of himself first within before it can heal anybody without. Okay, you don't want to have any problematics and people come to you and say, what did you just do to me? You have to tell them exactly what you just did so they feel comfortable with you, right? So it's discretion assured because you're looking at someone's life, right? And you're looking at someone's spiritual life. You're looking at someone's thoughts and you're changing something, okay? So when you change something, what happens? It's either good or bad. There's no in between. You've done something right or you've done something wrong, okay? Now, life exists on that. You make mistakes, nobody else does. So you're trying to fix their mistakes, okay? No, they fix their own mistakes. All you're trying to do is bring them back into balance to its earth, okay? You can't fix someone's mistakes. They have to figure out that for themselves. But what you can do is you can put them on the dimensional earth because that's what they forget. They forget the gravity system of them. They forget the power of the center position. They forget their heart and they forget their mind and the brain and everything through their soul. You know how hard it is to identify yourself through a soul? You have a soul. You can't see it, but it's there. And it's all connected to the visual system, okay? So it's connected to its visible of its energy. What's an energy attraction position? What's an energy division through a location position? What's an energy light connection line system to a chakra location of its rotation system? You have to understand these things because it's all connected to every other human that walks this earth, male, female, or children, okay? So if you want to know more, just go through me. You know, you want to go through discussions more than ever, especially with the force team, right? You guys are at that level, but you really have to be prepared on what happens next, okay? Because remember, you're not just saving someone's life, okay? You're bringing them back to life, okay? You're basically rising them, okay, from the grounds. Everything that they've been doing for the last 20, 30, 40 years through thoughts, you're changing all that, but you don't realize what you're doing. You're healing somebody. How do you feel? Well, what did you just do? I changed your clocks. I changed your dimensions. I changed your time. I changed your heart. Your soul identification wasn't identifying anything with the grounds of its earth. That is practical. That is basic. That's A, B's, and C's for me. But what you have to understand that everybody lives existence through its life stream. Everybody's living a different path of a journey to a mission. Everybody has a mission. How do we go forward? Okay. So I'm on TikTok and I'm healing people that are basically near death. I'm healing people that are basically I can't take it anymore. So you have to understand that everybody's on a different emotional level of a roller coaster, guys. Okay. So you have to understand yourself, intelligence fully and complete within yourself. Have the confidence level, have the conscious and awareness of what you're doing. Okay. So it's very important to understand things. And that's why I keep uprising you guys. So we're going to go through the review and everything through the test and evaluation because I want to put you guys up to 100. Okay. Now, the thing is too, if you don't take the test and review and evaluation and you feel, you don't need it, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. If you want to go off on your own, that's totally fine too, right? But I'm just telling you to be prepared. That's all, because you're not connected to the human vessel anymore. You're connecting to an extremely, extremely powerful commander, okay, that controls everything in the body. So if you can control everything in your body, you can do everything through the mind of the body. It goes way beyond. So you never underestimate the mind of thought and what you can do through travel. Okay. So I think it's fantastic that you guys are learning, but as long as you understand your experiencings of learnings and your adaptations of your cycles, rotations, and your chakras and everything through communication, truly understand that when you're in the galactic school, you're learning for the greater good to give back to community, to your loved ones and family, knowing how powerful it is, how you can heal your kids, right? Saves them going to the doctors, right? Because the doctors don't understand energy. Okay, they have no clue, right? So it's all about the belief. How much do you believe in yourself? If you believe in yourself, you can believe you can heal somebody else. But like I said, you have to understand their emotion. You have to understand their dimensions of time emotion. You have to understand their cognitive times of emotion, because they can be on connections of depression. Okay, they can be on depressions of suicide. How are you going to heal somebody that's in suicide? Well, you have to go through their connections, right? You have to go into the psychological system of their thoughts first, right? Mind over matter, right? You have to understand how to calm them down first. You can't just go and heal them and wake up 7 chakra rotations of a body, right? Knowing that they're going to be okay. You have to calm them down. How do you do that? You understand the calming centers, right? What is a calming center? Well, it's all about understanding to bring that person back into tranquility, bringing back their vibration to the balance of its ground formation, put them back on the earth rotation, and make them feel better through formation. Okay. So, Tina, Sylvia, how's it going? How's everybody doing? Sarah, how's everyone? I'm busy working. Working's good. That's great. Bedtime here for me, but was still awake. Great to see you, Sylvia. Yeah. Galactica, buenos dias. ¿Cómo estás? Bien. There's like we really want to help, but I was told wait until you know what you're doing. See, that's it. Galactic knows exactly what I'm talking about. So you guys already know your connections between you and your commander, right? So that's good. So she's aware, okay? She's aware that to understand yourself, you need to understand the help. I was told to wait until we know what we are doing through connections. I want to give information that is right and not information that is wrong. Because if you give wrong information, it goes into their body through their soul identification. Now you have a higher self flying in the atmospheres on wrong positions. And now they're healing other people, but in the wrong location. Anything through telephone or anything through teleportation, right? There's a lot of healers out there that are not healers. They're aware of what they're doing, but they don't tell you what they're doing. Right? They just put their hand out. Oh, I'm opening your third eye right now. Do you feel it? Feel the energy going up? It doesn't work that way. You can't open up someone's third eye. To open up someone's third eye, that person has to be not just God, but it has to understand full rotation of cycle rotation of its past, to understand the confident level it needs to understand it comes from its continuous force of light and dark. It has to know its inner and outer force of its inner system to its higher self. It has to understand its molecule structure of light through travel. It has to understand its positions of its grounds, its power, and its atmospheres. Okay? Healing is not just healing. Okay? So this school is extremely, extremely complicated, but it's extremely powerful. Okay? It's the most powerful school in the world of its existence. It's all about understanding the mind and how you initiate the activation to anything through the chakra system, and how you go beyond the perception of what you see and what you hear and what you commute, right? So I'll say this again. You know, everybody has a chakra system, okay? You have to be full rotation of a light to heal anybody through the chakra. You open the chakra, you open the third eye. Okay, you just can't do this. Oh, your third eye is going to open up. Boom, 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 boom. What that's done is that person probably is an energetic pattern, maybe a Reiki master. But the problem is that body's not understanding anything through mind telepathy. Its magnetic force, magnetic system is connecting through the connections of the atmospheres. So this person is energetic pattern, but it could put an electrical ball on you, and now it's controlling you through its mind. Right? So that's where you have to be cautious on people like that. You know, when people come up to you and say, hey, I just healed you. Well, what did you just do? I'm watching your channel, but, you know, I'm feeling something, but you're not telling me what you did. Okay? That's not a professional. Professionals don't do that. Right? Senseis, mentors, they'll say, what did you just do? Okay? So it's deceitfulness. You don't do that to people. Right? Because there's a lot of people that want to stay in that form until they understand themselves. Humanity is not ready, okay, to rise. They only rise until they understand the education of themselves. Very basic. This is a bottle. This is a shape. This is water. Okay, it's contained in water. Understand the shapes. Understand the geometrics of the shape. Okay, understand what you do with the bottle. Atmosphere comes out, right? You drink the bottle. The water is contained in it, right? So that alone is understanding what that is. Okay, so if you understand the shape, you understand the bottle of the shape, and you understand the water, and you understand the time and dimension of its water, where it's coming from, because everything through water comes from everywhere, right? There's all different kinds of water. Okay, but if your intelligence understands the time of water dimension, you can change it, right, to your calculation, to your modification, to balance everything through its connection. Okay, like I said, healing's not healing. I can heal water. If I can heal water, I can heal anything. So if you heal anything, you know everything. Know everything in aspects of yourself. I'm not saying knowing everything in definition, like when it comes into political stuff and all that stuff. I'm just talking about fully, completely the body. What the body is, what the body needs, what the body wants. Not the satisfaction. Healers heal people on satisfaction. Now that's quoting divisions of, not harmonizing. It's deharmonizing the body system. So this person feels okay, but then realize 6 months later, what has happened to that person? Passed away. But I just healed you. But what did you do? So a lot of healers will not tell you what they just finished doing. Okay? Because that's their secret. Same with the tarot cards, the third eye. So you're looking at one traction to another position. So it's one third eye activating everything through a tarot card and everything through the story frame. So when that third eye opens up, it's going right to your third eye. If your third eye is not open, you're going to get a headache. It's closed. It's not open. Okay, so it's like an eye. It's a regular eye, but it's in a position, okay, of a matrix location position. That's what the third eye is. So the matrix is everything through your perception and what you see through connection, right? So it's a TV reception of you from one to another. So it's one TV monitor reading another TV monitor. That's the third eye. You understand what the third eye is, right? So it's connecting, right? So I'll draw it out and I'll show you exactly what it is. So everybody knows what a TV monitor is, right? TV monitor is connected to in always in forms. It's then electrical lights. Somebody come into the bunny ears. All right. So basically, this is you watching TV. I'd like to go back in the 80s. These are the bunny ears. Okay, that's the old TV. All right. Now this is you watching TV. Okay, that's you watching TV, right? Now, if you understand channels and the dials, and you're saying every channel, let's say that you have regular cable and you get between 50 to 60 channels, right? If you have a satellite, you get more, right? So you're watching TV reception. All right, so it's one third eye opening up to another third eye. So it's understanding the recognition of time and dimensions and coordinates and everything through codes. So it's a TV reception connecting from your TV, right, to the TV reception of its connection. So as it's connecting, you're going to its communication. Right, so let's just say this is a third eye. Kind of weird, isn't it? So that's the third eye of a tarot card. A little bit of understanding, right? Now the tarot card has its channels. Right? Past, present, future. That's what tarot cards are. It's all reading cycles, guys, of past, present, and future. Oh, I want to know my past. Oh, I want to know my future. Oh, I want to know my present. Where am I at? So it changes the channel. So the eye receptor location changes its position, goes into its core system of a dimensional realm through its position, like this. It opens up. When it opens up, it goes into you through calculation, like this. Goes right into your mind. So if your mind's not open, if your brain's not open, if you're not open through its identification to your higher self, you're going to get brain patterns of interference. It's going to electrolyte your brain location positions and activate your cycle positions. And you're going to feel it, right? Now, if you don't feel that, it's going to go through your whole body. You like goosebumps, but it's not goosebumps. So what's going to happen is you're going to get headache rotations every time you watch that channel. Right? So if somebody's trying to open your third eye and your eye's not open, this is what happens through reaction. So the other person doesn't really care. right? So you can't go through a channel and say, okay, I've just opened your third eye. How do you feel? It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. You have to fully understand what you're doing. You have to be professional enough to give back to community what you just finished doing, right? So that's what people aren't aware of. Humanity is not aware of that. They're not aware of the spiritual system and how powerful it is. How powerful the spiritual system is. It's living, dying, and being reborn, guys. Okay? 3 waving cycles. The life and death cycle through its reborning system. The rebirthing system. Okay? The reforming system. New calculation of a new body system to activation of lights and thoughts. So you're recognizing yourself through intelligence for the very first time, which comes into your higher self. It flies around its atmospheres and gets to know itself, right? So basically, you're more aware of your spiritual system now. You're more aware of meditation, what it really means. So when you wake up, you become more aware of everything through detail. Okay? So it's truly understanding what happens to these positions. Okay? True to the fact, but that's exactly what happens if somebody on the other side is trying to wake you up and they don't know what they're doing through healing. You automatically get reactions to the brainwaves. Because the brainwave doesn't understand what you're doing. Humanity is not ready for the spiritual system, right? So we have to wake everybody up through the heart central light system, okay? Not the brainwaving pattern. It's got to be the heart. So when you heal somebody, you go through the heart. You find it where they are through the meridian. You find it where they are through the Egyptians. You find it where they are through the pharaohs, because they are extremely real. Ancestry and history is everything through connection of time, of dimensions, guys. Okay? So there's a lot of mistrusting and misinformation there through calculation. Putting yourself in those positions, your program settings. You got to take those out of your equation, right? Because it's going to overload your feeding systems. Right? So, but that's what a tarot card is. Has its channels, has its TV reception, projection, has its connection. So this is the satellite, right? So that's what a tarot card is. I said that before. So a tarot card is a third eye, everything through story frame. So it opens up its portal and it's sending information to you, past, present, and future. If you don't understand its relation, right, it's not going to understand anything through its connection. It's going to separate your body system through electronics. And you feel okay, but then you wake up the next day, oh, I got a headache. And I've had this headache for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year. I can't get rid of this headache. It's because there's something wrong with your separation of your brainwaves. So you got to take it out. That's also healing. Okay? So that's why it's crazy. Crazy you put yourself in those positions. It's all done through thoughts. Thoughts create creation through the mind system. Okay? Thoughts can take over anything through creation, guys, right? You create your own healing. You create your own activity. You create your own entertainment. You create your own community of loved ones. You create your own reality. Nobody else does. You put yourself in that position. But if you don't understand your dichotomy system of traction positions, your heart is going to be split in location. Okay? So it's kind of like taking a branch off your tree. So you got to bring it back, mend it, tie it up, tape it up, let it form, let it reconnect, revive itself, right? Let it heal itself. Okay. So there's a lot of mistakes that you can do in your body. All this can help you out. Truly understand what your body is. Okay. I master it in all ways of the body through electronics into the individual system. I created humans. If anybody doubts me that, they can take me on that. If they want to understand more of their body, I'll tell you exactly where they are. I can put you 5,000 years into the future. You see yourself 5,000 years into the future. If you don't believe me, go through my email and I'll tell you exactly what you have to do, what I'll do. So it's understanding thoughts and recognition of time through positions when it comes to dimension portals, right? Never underestimate the mind of thought. Okay, so. Because I know who I am. I know where I come from. I know what I can do. I know what I can do. I'm everything through form. Okay? So it's the confident level you have with your lights, guys. And that's why I give you test reviews and evaluations. Okay, do as you will, but you understand that everything that I give you is for the greater good, to make you smarter, to make you more knowledgeable, to understand what you're seeing through water, how Dina is going through gravity shifts, and she sees, oh, the environment has changed. I see the magnetic, I see the seismic graphing activity through electronics. That's powerful stuff. Okay, human DNA doesn't talk like that. Oh, look at the water, right? So if you put yourself in these positions, you're going to be more protected through lights of activation to your connection of your body framing system. So you understand more communications through your chakra system, because your provisions and your acting cycles will understand more of your connection to your program settings. So your program setting is truly understanding who you are through intelligence. And now you're understanding simulation. Okay, and then you get into the graphs, and then you get into digital, and then you get into clouds. What are clouds? Where everybody know that. Okay, it's understanding. When I did a video on TikTok and how I put my hand up and I made the cloud disappear, right? I made a cloud disappear. And that's understanding what you do through intelligence. It's knowing how to communicate with your hand to its cloud. And that cloud disappears into its dimension, but where does it go? So if somebody knows their energy, but doesn't understand the division of dimension of time through its cloud, what's the point of healing yourself if you don't understand anything connection? How are you going to heal anybody else if you don't understand your healing through its disappearing? Okay, so I just disappeared a cloud, but where did it go? I don't know. Okay, so that's a lot of mumbo and jumbo. I say, well, you get connected with yourself more. You know, don't heal if you're not sure what you're doing. Plain and simple. You disappear a cloud, and somebody says they're watching you disappear a cloud. And they're asking you, how did you do that? I don't know. I just healed it. Well, what do you mean you healed it? Well, it disappeared, right? Yeah, but where did it go? I don't know. So you're not sure of yourself. You're not sure of your travels. You're not sure of your intelligence. You're not sure of your light. You're not sure of your GODs. Okay? It's your geometric system of you, because everything through calculation, modifications, quantum physics have shapes. So you're taking all those codes. Remember with the apple, 0.2, right? So you're taking the apple through electronic and division, through all connections. Your apple's coming into shapes. It's coming into forms of shapes, right? And then it comes out of its equation, and you create it through manifestation. Then it goes back into your body system, transmitting and receiving. So everything that you're creating is everything through shapes, letters, and numbers. So you understand why you're getting numbers of time, why you're getting shapes through your body system, okay? And why am I getting letters through formation? So if you understand your connections of yourself, you understand the healing of yourself, okay? So you have to be prepared for these questions that people ask you. If you're a powerful healer, you have to prove it to them, right? Because you're going to look dumbfounded and say, okay, well, give me God. Give me Jesus. I want to see Jesus right now. Come on, you're a healer. Show me Jesus. Oh, I don't know. I just only know how to do this, right? So basically, don't put your foot in your mouth. Don't step on your own toes. If you put yourself in that position, you're going to have to answer heavy, heavy questions, especially if you're going to be interviewed, if you go on TV, right? So these are the things you don't want to do, because if you put things into that perspective and they say, well, you're a healer, but I don't see God. I don't see Jesus. I don't believe you, right? So they don't believe you because you don't believe in yourself. So how are you going to be able to understand these things? How the atmosphere works? How many times does the earth rotate? How many times does the sun rotate on so many cycle rotations through moon interference? How many times are moon programs setting through humanity's system through electronic divisions? How many programs are set up through body fragmentation lights through holographic line systems? How many calculation modifications of thoughts do I need through traveling through connections of dimensions and time? How to understand my clockings? How to understand my times on my clockings? Right? You have to know all these things before you present yourself to its healing. Okay? So it's powerful. It's extremely, extremely powerful, you know, and you guys are learning so much more, you know. I'm learning from you, okay, as you're learning from me, as your commander. But you have to be everything through form before you can heal anything. You have to know the psychological system of the person you're dealing with. It's the psychosis of their thoughts and where they are through time of dimension. You have to send their clocking. Where are they? Are they anxiety? How do I take the anxiety? How do I take out the stress? These are all different codes. They're not the same code. You can't use the same healing. A lot of people do this. A lot of people heal, right, through one traction position, but everybody's on a different path. You can't do the same healing to everybody else. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way at all because you're not healing somebody, right? You may heal somebody, but then you heal somebody else, you have to use a different code. You have to use a different method. You have to use electronics. You have to use energy system. You have to understand the hydraulics. You have to understand their perception. You have to understand their thoughts. You have to understand their psychosis. You have to understand the psychological system of their system through vibration, through their human behavioral system. Because everybody's connected to emotion, right? We go through that every single day through our dream sets. Okay? So if you heal somebody, right, and they say, okay, well, wait a minute, you just healed me, but I'm seeing a spaceship now. I feel I've been abducted. What are you going to say to them? What are you going to say to them? You have to tell them something. You have to tell them something. You have to tell them what you just finished doing. So you're not connected to your line sequences. You're not connected to your communication signals. You're not connected to your body frames. And you certainly aren't connected to your activation lights through this connection. And you certainly aren't connected to the mind-brain connections to their system. Okay, so you open up their practical levels. You open up their mind, but you forgot the heart. Right? So everything that you do through healing has to be head to toe. So that's where you go through scanning. Right? So you have to go through the psychosis of them through vibration, through time, dimension, where they are through connections. They could be traveling into space, you might know it. Their mind could be separated into the collaboration of its matrix positions. Their heart recognition light doesn't understand the tree format. Their soul identification doesn't understand the gravity system of this earth. There's a lot of levels you have to understand when it comes to healing, guys. Because everybody's going through their own life cycle. So, and again, I keep saying that healing is not just healing. Healing is everything through healing until you understand yourself fully and completely through your lights. The practical levels, and I keep saying practical, is understand the observation of it's practical, understand the perception of it's practical, understand your ABCs and C's of it's practical. Your positions alone has to understand what you're doing through your chakra system of communication through wire divisions, locations to its body frame of its chakra system. If you don't understand how to communicate with your body, you can't heal anybody else. Okay? So, hey, Angel, how's it going? That's one reason I stay with the animals. I'm doing anything I know I'm not ready to work. See, there you go. See, Sylvia is being honest with herself. And I think that's fantastic. She's working with her animals. She's starting off small. Humans are difficult, very, very difficult, because they live many, many lives alone. So when you scan somebody, you're going into their past, guys. You're going into their presence, and sometimes they're in the future. So sometimes you can think that, okay, here's a guy. Okay, he's a cybergenetic robot. He thinks he's in the future. So you understand that, okay, if this person is in 20,050, how do I take him out? How do I put him back on the earth at 2021? You have to know how to heal, right? You can't just look at a person and say, okay, this is what you have to do. It doesn't work that way. You have to understand where they are through the past, present, and future, because they're all the conception of the mind is in its time of dimension. So basically, if this person thinks he's a robot, that's not the past, that's not the present, that's the future. Okay, I understand that because I've traveled trillions of years into the future. And when you come against anything through Xyron, okay, Xerox, or anything through Zonion, they're all connected to robot divisions, right? I compute on so many levels, division level system. I'm activating on so many connection line system. I'm 22 trillion years into pure level connection line system to activation code system. So it's all connected to the robot division. So I understand my practical levels of my chakra system, okay, of trillions of years into the future. So I have to know how to communicate through robot division of line communication. Right? So it's one community communicating with another community to a planet. Planets are extremely real when you create them. And it's all connected to the mind. So you're connected to the framing of its mind. You're connected to the time of its connection of its matrix, of its communication of time. So it's where it gets complicated. So if a person is 20, 50 in the future and he thinks he's a robot, you have to understand how to take him back into the earth, right? So you have to heal. I say, well, how do you do that? Well, you have to understand yourself within first, right? So you have to travel to these positions. So everybody is in a caught-in situation. Everybody's in a different dimension of time through a planet position. So whatever they created through their thought, okay, they're holding their positions on their grounds. They're stuck in their positions through their thoughts. And that's why they can't move forward. Okay? So there's a lot to learn. A lot to learn. Angel, how's it going? Oh, thank you, Angel. I appreciate that. Yeah. I just don't do videos for my benefit. I do videos for everybody to understand what you're doing. It's what you're doing with yourself, especially if you want to heal somebody. Okay, because first you have to look at where they are. Okay, are they in the past, the present, or the future? And that's where you go through the scan. Right, I've healed people that were on 2 different planet positions. Right, now that's created through their mind and what I see. Okay, and that's why space and time is so real, because they're open through frequencies, but they don't understand their mind conceptions, or the brain location is not open through the adaptation cycle, through its body frame of the chakra system. So their chakra system can be open, but their soul doesn't identify the chakras of communication of lights. There's a lot of problem there if you don't understand the mind communication. 2, it's human vibration of its healing system, right? So this person was going through a lot of problems when it came into activity levels of healing through connection. It was really obsessed with all connections of itself. And why was it going through so many vibrations of anxiety, right? So it's understanding how to take this person out of anxiety, because it's in the location of creation of thought, right? So that's where the trapping position comes in. So you got to take out the trapping position of the mind to the brain and bring it back to the balance of its earth of 2021. Okay? That's how you heal people. They have to realize what you're doing through connections. So if they come into the form, they come back to the line communication of their chakra system, right? So it's all about repositioning their time of their clock and bringing them forward back into position, okay? Because they could be on 2 planets, 3 planets, 4 planets. You know, they could be in planets in front or planets in back. There could be a virus on that planet, right? It's what they create. And sometimes when they're creating, they don't realize it's created in space. It's not created until you open your thoughts. But if you live 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, just imagine how much you created through your thoughts. And you're still struggling. You're struggling because your mind doesn't understand the brain. The brain doesn't understand its thoughts, and the mind doesn't understand its creation. So you got to take it out of its traction and put it back in position of 20, 21. Okay? They have to realize that they're on the earth. If they don't realize they're on the earth, they're in their own dimension of time. So how do you take them out of that? So there's a lot of people, you have to yourself, you have an adult. Okay, this person's in a psych ward, and all of a sudden it's holding a doll. She's holding a doll. What's going on, right? She's holding a doll, so she's in a dollhouse. So she's going through past, what happened. Maybe her daughter passed away and she can't comprehend of what just happened. That's trauma. That's extremely powerful. That's line signal of trapping positions to 2 different planet positions. So it's trapping locations. So it's one planet going like this. So it's trying to get back to the earth, but it's going back to the past. So you get 2 planet positions pulling you. It's like, you know, rope back and forth, right? And you have the center position, which is water or anything like that. You have that with teams, right? So one team is pulling, the other team's pulling. So that's what's happening, right? With people like that, dimensions of time. So you have to understand, when I go through the healing, I go through what you create through your thoughts of past, present, and future. And that's why it's so powerful, is because I see it. So that's how I understand how the mind is in its balance, its connection. So you bring back the brainwaving system to the positions of its earth, then the traction location of its creation of its mind creates its own thought back in the balanced position of time position, of its presence position. Now it's getting complicated, right? But complicated is good because that's what space and time is. You create everything through anomaly of space, soon you create your thoughts. Okay, so that's a lot of thoughts creating, right, over the years. And you keep asking yourself, I can't move forward. I keep getting sick. I'm getting sick more and more. Why are you getting sick? Is because you're creating it through your thought and you don't realize that. And it's all connected to through space and time, through thoughts. So it's to understand your body system can heal anything through formation until you understand what's going on with your creations of your mind and your thoughts. And that's why it's so powerful through the spiritual system. All right. So we are healthy, healed ourselves. Thank you for your guidance. Yep. Feels like a show of how they heal themselves. Wouldn't that be an idea? Yeah. If you feel healthy, you are healthy. That's great. I'm just saying, like with Sylvia, she's taking time. You know, she's not putting in positions of healing humans because she doesn't feel confident, right? Even though that she's 300 years into the future, that's great. Her mind and her thoughts are in the future, but her body system is 90 traction positions of time positions. So you have to understand the psychological of humans, people. That's the only way you can heal anybody, because everybody's caught in time of thought. Okay, so you have to understand their positions and what they're creating. Are they in the past, present, or future? Very simple. You just have to understand how to bring them back from the past to the present or the future to the present. Okay, and it's all creation through their thoughts because they go through the activation, through the illustration. So you see the illustration, you see where they are, you see where they're caught in between. Okay, so it's powerful when you come into those connections, guys. So. But if you feel you have confidence and you know how to heal yourself, that's great. But it's plausible that you stay with yourself first before you heal anybody else. I'm just giving you all these levels that you understand the psychological system, the psychosis, and everything through the metaphysical system of you through body frame, through mind telepathy. Okay? So. All right, I'm just going to back phrase questions, and then it's going to be it for the day. You guys just get into your experiences, your questions, everything you create through your thoughts. Make sure you bring yourself forward. If you want to get into more information, if you feel you're ready and somebody needs help, you can go through me and I'll ask you questions and I'll see, okay, well, or do you think you're ready? You know, you come to me, right? And I'll say, okay, well, how do you feel? Like, just really don't lie to yourself. Be truthful to yourself, knowing that I think I'm ready. I want to try this. So basically, it's all about, do you understand how to scan somebody? Okay. And this is where you come into the realization how real it is when you heal somebody. So once you start scanning, you're connecting to their alignment right away. So you're connecting one to another. All right. This is where you have to be very, very careful. Okay, because remember, you're trying to identify them. You're trying to heal them through their soul. But their soul is caught in thoughts of what they created over the years. Are they in the past, present, or future? So it's all psychological through wire. Okay? It all connects. All right? So if you have any questions and you're not sure about it, just come to me and I'll help you out and guide you into that direction. Or they can go through me, through healing, you know. Dana sent me a lot of her friends and all that, so I heal them instantly. So it's all about understanding the illustrations of its drawing through its thoughts. Because remember, everybody creates something, okay? Nothing becomes everything, okay? And everything becomes nothing, and nothing becomes everything through form. So it's to understand that it's complicated stuff, and it will keep getting complex because you understand everything that is created disappears, okay? Until you understand your thoughts of your body. That's how you bring yourself forward. Because people are creating, but not realizing they're opening space outside themselves. And that's the problem, is because they live this job for 20 years and they can't get out of it, and it's still stuck in it, So you keep questioning yourself, keep getting angry, you get anxiety, you get stress. Now you're in the hospital having a heart attack. So you're building. You don't want to do that, right? So that's where you got to go into the calming of yourself. That's another thing too. When you heal somebody, you have to be calm, right? Because somebody could be like, "Oh, I need to be healed." You have to understand why the person is twitching. Why is the person? Where's that coming from? Right? It's coming from the brain, right? It's a nerve. It's a stem. So you have to understand what the person is going through right now. How did that person get into that position? So you have to go into the past to heal them to get them into the present. Can't just heal their chakra system after they're doing this. It could be an anxiety, it could be stress, it could be anything. Too many pills, they have history. Everybody has history, ancestry through thoughts. They create their own reality in what they do. Whatever they put in their body, right? It's going to calculate and modify, positive or negative, because they put themselves in that position. Nobody else does, right? So you have to understand where they are through the psychological other thoughts of the human vibration through its behavioral system. So, is dementia a form of psychosis? Yes, it is, Sylvia. Dimension is basically it's a wormhole of time, of dimension. This person is caught in its connection, which means that it doesn't want to leave, right? So it's kind of like it's in its own creation of its thought, but it's living its time of its existence through its dream. So every time it gets up in the morning, it's living its dream, but it's on its reality of its Earth system, which is 2021. So they know they're on the Earth, but they can't define what's in their mind. So that's where it's confusion. That's what dementia is. So it's kind of like you're lost in time. You're in a dimension. You're in the 1940s. So the person that you're interacting with is family related or a neighbor or whatever. You're relating to them to the 1940s. They see you as 1940s. They're wearing clothes as 1940s. You have to understand what the mind is. You have to understand the creation of the mind of thought. You have to understand the time of dimension. So that's the connection when it comes into dementia. My grandmother had dementia. And she thought my dad was in the 1940s. Right? So that's where the mind is. It's caught in dimensions of time. Okay. But there's all different kinds of diseases, guys. We create our own disease. Nobody else does that. Okay. It's complicated stuff if you don't understand yourself through thought. Okay. So it's really powerful if you put yourself in position, especially if you're high rise in your chakra systems. You guys have to be cautious because your high rise locations come into 114. Okay. So, but that's what dementia is. It's a form of psychosis through thought. Yeah. You're caught in dimensions of time. So it's kind of like they live their life in the 40s, but now they're, 2021, but they still think they're in the 40s. So they're caught in dimensions. Okay. And their time codes is not understanding anything through observation. All right. So. Yeah, I know. You have to understand where the mind is. Yeah, because it's all connected through a dream. Right? Dementia is all nothing but a dream. Okay, so they actually believe they're in the 1940s. Everything around them they see is a night, and sometimes they come in and out. Sometimes they'll travel back and say, "Oh, how's it going?" And then they'll go back in again. So it's time switching, vortex location. So they're switching back and forth. So they're flicking back and forth through dimensions of time. That's what dementia is. So back in the 40s, back in 2021, right? So, yeah, I can heal anything, Tina. Yeah. Parkinson's, diabetes, cancer, 4-stage cancer. You just have to understand where the mind is setting, where its thoughts are. And the thing is, too, what makes it worse is the drugs that they take. It's mutation of devices and the mutation that you have to understand when you take an aspirin, what does it do to the mind? What does it do to the brain? The brain is malfunctioning. The brain is nothing but electrical light. It's connected to a brain. It's a sponge. So you have to understand electrical lights. You have to understand the particle system. You have to understand everything through activation. It's all connected to your spine of rotation. It's all connected to your dream set positions. Okay? What is your spine? What is the mind of the spine? What is the everything through its placebo. Placebo is its thought. Cortex is its dream. It's not that complicated. So you have to take them out of the traction through the positions. They could be caught in the past, or they could be caught in the presence of its past, or you could be caught in the past, present, and its future. Right? It's complicated. You don't understand where the body is through traction positions, through the chakra system of communication. So, yeah. It's the confident level you have to have through that connection, guys. So it's all about understanding the medication that they're taking. It's all about dissolving the medication before you heal anybody, how much they've been taking over the years. Right? So somebody could have dementia for 10 years and taking all these drugs. Makes it worse, doesn't make it better. Right? So they go more into psychosis. All right. I mean, there's a lot of prescriptions out there you take, but you have to ask yourself. Another thing, you got to be cautious too on what you're taking, because you're going to have a reaction to anything that you take. Right? Because everything that you take inside you is nothing but connected to your electrical light system. And it's connecting to your water. Your liquid water has to understand what you're taking. If it doesn't understand, you're going to go into the psychosis, more into dementia, into Parkinson's or anything that connection. Right? So you understand what happened to them in the past. Right? If you understand that, then you have to understand why they put themselves in that position. And it's all connected to their thoughts. Right? Your thoughts creates everything through disease. Okay? And it's all connected. That's how powerful it is. You create your own diseases through your thoughts of time of travel. So if you want to put yourself in position, you want to be back in the 1930s, you're going to totally lose your identity. Once you lose your identity, you're nothing but a plasma connection. So this is where you have to understand the spiritual system goes into the past. And that's where it's confusing. Now you come into the psychedelics. Now you come into the psychosis. Okay? That's where you go into the schizophrenic. So that means that what happens is the spiritual system is advocated through location into the present position, but it prefers the past and not the present to go forward. So that's where you come into that connection, the psychedelics to that level, right? The psychosis to its activation, right? To anything to mention, right? So that's why I wanted you guys to see the movie Cell with Jennifer Lopez. She went into that psychotic man and actually went into the man's brain and what she saw. Okay. So that's what your commander does. I go into the mind. I know exactly the creation of the mind. It's weird. Some people are on so many levels of confusion signals. It's crazy. So you have to understand where they are through their time of travel, right? Because we're always moving forward. But if the spiritual system wants to be in the past, now you're really caught in between of different positions of thoughts. It wants to stay in the past, and that's really, really powerful to get out, because the spiritual system has to go forward. It can't go in the past. If you open up the spiritual system, the higher self, and it wants to stay in the past, that's a huge problem. Huge, huge problem. It's creating its own dimension of time. It's creating its own realm of dark. Okay? That's where you come into higher formations of calculation of yourself through thoughts. Okay? Because that modifies everything through your travel positions of your lights, guys. Okay? So, it's powerful stuff. It really, really is, you know. I mean, it's amazing when you come into these through forms and anything to that connection. But you guys have to get into better positions on what you're doing through your thoughts before you understand anything through healing to anything else, to heal anybody else to that connection. Okay, because you have to understand their psychosis. You have to understand their psychological system of vibration. You have to understand their positions of where they are through the thoughts of travel, through time, of dimension. Okay? Especially if the spiritual system is in the past. Whoa, that's really powerful to get out. Because remember, it's a spiritual system that wants to stay in the past. It doesn't want to be in the present. Okay? That's where you get multiple personalities. So the higher self is creating multiple personalities in the spiritual form, and it's creating everything. It's not living in the present, it's in its past now. Okay, it can create anything through sentient. You can create a sentient in the past. Now you're creating your own creation, dementia, Parkinson's, anything that you want, you can create. Remember, it's the spiritual system that prefers to stay in the past of thought, of travel, guys. And it's very hard to get out if you don't understand the alignment of that person that you're dealing with through the psychological system. Okay, so it's activations of cords. So you got to cut the cords, right? And bring the spiritual system in the present so it can have a future. Okay, so yeah, we'll get more into that. Yeah. So fantastic class today. We learned a lot, eh? I just want you guys to be cautious in what you're doing. Truly understand yourself. If you're having problems, please come to me. I'm here to help you, not just guide you. You guys are already guiding your way. You know, you guys are in your connections and what you want to do and all that. But be cautious on what you do when it comes into healing someone. All right. So I'm giving you all these things that you need to know. Okay. It's important you understand these things, right? Because you got to look at yourself. You got to heal yourself every single day. And if you come across somebody you want to heal, you better know what you're doing. Okay. Or your commander is going to have to, fix the situation. Right. So that means I got to take them out of traction position, take them out of line position, because now you're aligned through that. I got to cut the cords. Right. Now it's got to go line through me. It's no longer line through you. It's going to line through me. So it's understanding that that connection is a different location to its different position, to a new clocking, to another dimension at a time. Right. So now I'm going through another healing through its connection of bio scanning to its position, taking that person out of its connection of past, present, future back into the presence of its earth system to its gravity position. Now you center position of the chakra system through communication, right? So that person is healed through formation. All right. Okay. So there's a lot to learn, eh? It's a lot of fun, but there's a lot to learn, and that's why it's so powerful. So, but I'll let you guys go. You can sit on that and think of, not just your thoughts of knowledge and intelligence, but understand how powerful am I? What can I do and what can I not do? And what do I need to improve on? Right? Don't feel embarrassed that you need to improve on these things, because I've been there. Okay. So it's understanding more of yourself first through intelligence. Really understand your communication of yourself through intelligence. Know how powerful you are, what you can do, what you can't do, and what you need to work on. Okay. It's all about experiencing and exploring ourselves. That's what the positions are in when it comes into the galactic school, right? So the Earth system. Okay. Definitely makes sense now why my mom was like she was. Closure. Now that's it. That's another thing too, is that people need closure. They don't want closure, so they stay catatonic. Like this. Right? So if they're like this, they're obviously in space, they're in a dimension of time, and they're in the 1940s. They see horses, they see saloons, they see classical music. Your mother could be wearing a dress, that's the connection, right? You just go right in, right? You can't get out. You can't get out. You're trapped. You're trapped in the past. So you have to go to the psychological of that person and what they're doing through the mind. It's all projection. They're going through projection every time they go through a dream sequence. So dementia is nothing but a dream, but it's caught in time through dimension, a portal, through code. So you have to understand when they come back to, okay, where was I? And then they remember, they look at you, they have a filter or no filter, and they realize where they are. And then they go back in. They prefer, because they don't have closure. Once you have closure, that's another form of healing. Okay? We'll get into that more, what closure is, right? Because it goes into repetitive emotions. If you go into that condition, you're always going to stay in that karma wheel in the past. So you don't want to put yourself in that position either, right? You want to allow yourself to see yourself in the present so you can have a future, guys, through thoughts. because your travel of time is everything through position. Okay, so you're extremely welcome, Galactica. All right. So we'll get into test review and evaluations on the 100 cycle rotation center to its position of chakra system of light activation through communication cycles. We'll just get into the review. We're not going to go through the test. It's a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of provisions of activation cycles, provisions of illustration to map location positions, where you are through calculation. It's knowing where you are through your thoughts, guys. That's all it is. As long as you present yourself in the presence here and now, you'll be totally fine. Okay? But really, really work on yourself through the inner system. Okay, before you decide to heal anybody to that connection. All right? All right, love you guys very much. Take it easy. Adios.